I was driving down the road. This is off topic, of course, but I was driving down the road today, and there's a new billboard. Like, realtors have made so much money during this boom that they find stupid ways to spend their money. And I believe me, I found some stupid ways to spend money myself. But anyway, billboards. Billboards in St. Louis are just getting out of hand, out of control. It used to be only the top like 10 guys could run a billboard and get away with it. Now we're seeing people that have never had billboards before. One guy today, I thought it was interesting. The billboard, I just wanted to talk about the design. So the design said over 740 homes sold. And then it was the picture of the fellow, and was his signature, as if like people care about that. But I got to thinking, over 740 homes sold. Now, how does he track that? Is that all that he's done, or is that both sides? It is a brokerage, so is he talking about the entire brokerage? Is he taking credit for those agents below him that are selling houses on the brokerage behalf? I mean, what are we to make of that number? Is it a good number? I can tell you from experience that the average agent sells 10 homes a year, is on either side, and it's a terrible life, especially if it's like, the average sale price is like 100,000. But anyway, in St. Louis, from what I've seen, billboards for real estate agents are not new. For instance, Sue Martin has one on 141 and 44. Then the O'Neill team put one up just a little bit in on 141. I don't know if they still have theirs. Gelman always has billboards. They have smaller billboards everywhere. So, it wasn't like new, but what I would say is this is say you're driving down 55 towards Farmington, you would see a couple ladies had billboards, and this was before the boom. And I always tried to figure that out. It's hard to be a rural real estate agent. It's just not that many transactions. So then, coming in, like I said, the most, the larger brokerages, and actually most of them, I don't really see a lot of brokerages so much as agents. Some of the bigger agents will put up billboards. But like I said, there was only like 4 or 5 people that could even pull it off because, by the way, we'll do the Baumgartner team too. They're on 55 going up towards St. Louis. I know a guy that works with them and good fellow, so I don't want to say anything negative. It just was one of those things where you just didn't see a lot of billboards for real estate agents, and now it's just everywhere. And my whole business, I've always wondered, like, well, let's say I'm 45. I always tell you that because I try to remember it. Things I've learned: one, self-financing a business is just a nightmare. I mean, it sucks. No fun. Gotta get a drink. Second thing I've learned that is, if you're going to spend a lot of money on advertising, it better pay off. And then that leads to the third thing, and that is, for me, of all the money I spend advertising, okay, like, how much work am I going to have to do before the advertising actually pays for itself? So, for instance, if I have to sell 2 homes a month just to clear my advertising costs, I don't know if I want to do that. It's just not what I want to do. And that's, 2 homes a month, doable. I have closings. I have 2 closings this month. I think one got moved to December, but I've had one. So it's doable, but man, is it really worth putting that money, thousands of dollars out I think for most agents, the answer is no. That leads you to believe that they should move to radio. Very fascinating thing I had happen to me is I was reading this book about I read about real estate and advertising and marketing all the time. And this lady in St. Louis that I had done a deal with in the past, nice lady, I had no issues with her, but she must have read that book and she did everything perfectly. And she still went out of business and still lost it. So I don't think that any sort of marketing works the same for everyone. It was fascinating to see her eat it. One of the funny things in that book was it's supposed to do it international in your title of your brokerage. So instead of Deerwood Realty, it'd be Deerwood International Realty. If you say international, people that don't know any better think that you're a big shot because you've got the word international in your name. Oh, he's working with international clients. Just putting it out there. So, question and answer, John. Will you ever have a billboard with your services, with your Deerwood Realty? No. Why not, John? Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to do all these things? I just don't want to sacrifice cash for the chance that I might get a lead. Plus, by the way, do you know some of the people that I'm currently working with to buy homes contacted me more than 2 years ago? I mean, the sales cycle, and in fact, the one I'm working on now, a listing that's coming up, I think that it's been closer to 6 years. So the sales cycle is long for me. I mean, sure, you'll get people that'll come and say, I want to buy a house, and you'll go show a house, maybe a couple weeks and they'll buy something, but that's not the norm. That's the thing that I see is people starting and stopping and starting and stopping the whole time. So take that for what you will. Moving on. What do you think of the microphone? Really? I feel like I'm not getting the money's worth out of the microphone. I mean, considering this is supposed to be one of the best microphones available, I just don't feel like I don't think I'm getting the value. And I don't know what I was thinking. I know what I was thinking. I thought that I could get my voice. I thought that my voice wasn't coming out the way it should, and that this microphone would solve all those problems. Turns out my voice is just annoying to me. Might be annoying to you as well. I'm just saying, like, I didn't realize that I did kind of think that my microphone was causing me to be a little nasally. But apparently that's just the way I am. So that's disappointing. 12 minutes in, want to talk about something that happened to me today at McDonald's. I just want to check something here. All right. And this is like one of those issues, like life issues. So drop the wife off at work. We carpool. I like to carpool. It's something I've never thought I would like when I was in my 20s, but now I enjoy driving my wife to work. It's nice to spend time, without rushing around for a little bit of time. Anyway, after dropped wife off, decided to go get McDonald's. Now, I love the Egg McMuffin. I don't know that I could ever order anything else from McDonald's for breakfast because I love the Egg McMuffin. Now, a while back, they changed the cheese. They say they didn't, but they did. And I think they changed. There used to be a little bit of butter on the McMuffin, but now it's not there or something. It's not the same as it used to be. But I can order two McMuffins and finish them with no issues whatsoever. This morning, this particular McDonald's, I don't know about the McDonald's you go to. The one that I go to is terrible. It's a depressing place. The floor is always greasy, slippery. So I mean, that's how greasy it is. They don't. They haven't worked at the counter since before COVID, and so it's always like this kiosk you have to go to, and you just press the buttons with everyone else that's pressing the buttons, and everyone's been picking their nose and their ears and what else they've been picking. I don't want to know, but anyway, it doesn't seem very sanitary. But order my 2 Egg McMuffins and proceed to sit down and wait. If you like, I enjoy the idea of being able to order my food instead of going through the counter. That's just me, but then if I screw it up, I feel like it's on me. I feel like if I screw up the order, it's my fault and not the person taking my order. Um, don't want to leave anything to chance. So I'm sitting there, and there's quite a few people waiting for their food because I think there's only like 2 people working at McDonald's this morning. And then the drive-through is like wrapped around the entire store, the restaurant. Now you might say, John, there were signs here that this is not where you want to be. I ignored those signs because I wanted an Egg McMuffin. I'm just being honest with you. I was hungry. So I'm sitting there, and there's a fellow in front of me. He's sitting there, and we're just, waiting. And I don't, when I see there's a line around the store, okay, and when I see there's a lot of people, I don't get real upset about, waiting for food. I mean, but then a man in his pajamas, well, he was wearing pajama bottoms. He was wearing a like, 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 like flip flops, but not. And he's older than me. I'm sure he was in his 50s. He had a tattoo on his neck. Now I don't want, to, you know, classify people in a negative way that have tattoos. I'm just describing the way he looked. Gray hair, and then he had a hoodie, a zip up hoodie, um, and he's like talking to this shift manager. I've seen her there working. She's a great gal. She works hard. Um, he's like, the sausage McMuffin doesn't come with cheese. I'm sitting there. I don't really know, and I don't really care at this point. I don't. There's this idea that like people that work at McDonald's and fast food in general are like somehow lessers. I've never believed that across the whole world. I just don't. I don't think of myself as better than others, I refuse to treat people that are working in a negative way unless they've really really come at me with something that that's inappropriate. So he's saying that so then he leaves, and so that's fine. He comes back in though like 2 minutes later, and he says the sign outside says the big breakfast is 4:45. I'm sorry, 3:45. And the lady at the counter is like, okay, this is the same menu here. It's 3:45 here or 4:45 here. There's $1 difference. Now there's people lined up outside. People inside, there's like 20 people inside, and now this guy's going to argue over $1. So you know the lady, to her credit, the McDonald's worker said, okay, well, let's go outside and look. Now when she left, that left one person working at the McDonald's in the back. So now no food's coming out. Now understand, now everything's locked down. And so she goes out there and comes back, and there's like guys like, well, don't argue with me if you're, not right or something. And so is there a discrepancy between the outside menu and the inside menu? I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really care. What kind of a person is arguing over a dollar when there's all these other people trying to get their food. And so I wrote it down because I'm asking you, chat, people of the internet, is anybody in the wrong there? Like, like for me, if I can get my food and it's not nobody spit in it, I'll be honest with you, I'm declaring a win and moving on. There's been times where somebody will say like they'll read back. I pretty much know exactly what I get everywhere, and I know the prices. Well, I used to until inflation hit. But like sometimes I'd get a price, and I'm like, that's not the right price. I wonder what I'm going to get, and I wouldn't even complain because it's like it's kind of like seek and find. I don't know. But I would never if I saw a line of cars going around a building, if I saw 20 people inside waiting for their food, I would and I saw 2 people working, I would never argue over a dollar. It isn't worth it to me. I don't need to be right. Like, so what if I'm right and I get a dollar back? I just wonder, like, to me, it seemed like people were being, um, I thought this person was being very selfish. You can be right and still be an asshole. That's that's kind of what that's kind of the vibes I got. So anyway, I'd like to know what you guys would do. Would you just, I mean, what's the point of fighting with the McDonald's worker? I mean, it's just off-putting. So let me know. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. What would you do if you were me? Now, I'll tell you what I did. I sat there and waited for my food because to me, this guy's crazy arguing over a dollar. Now, I don't want to be involved in his crazy. All right, we're gonna move on. I think I can go for 2 hours tonight. I don't think we're going to, but I have enough material. So I wanted to ask you. Well, I'll just come out and say it. I've lately in the past couple months I've had clients that are unhappy all the time, the entire transaction. And I don't think that they're unhappy with me. I think they're unhappy with the whole real estate thing in general. Um, this thing, this phenomenon first happened to me when I was selling a house. I think we were $30,000 over asking, or more than that. We were $45,000 over asking, and um, the seller was so mad at me he wouldn't even talk to me for like 3 days. I was representing the seller, and as I talked to the family. I was like, "What did I do wrong?" And they're like, "You didn't do anything wrong. He's just emotional about the sale." But here's the part that's important to me. I genuinely care about the people I work with, and I genuinely care about the people I work for. Uh, I don't know if that's a flaw, but like if you're that unhappy, it feels like I may have caused some of this, or I might be responsible for this uh, emotion that you're feeling, and it makes me feel terrible. And I guess I'm putting it out there. It's like, well, what would you do? Like, how do you deal with it? Like my value as a real estate agent, or my worth as a real estate agent, is derived from the happiness of my clients. And you say, well, that's wrong. That's not a good way to go. And here would be the counterpoint. John, you're getting paid to do a deal. You did the deal the best of your ability. You can't worry about someone else who's not in the business, who isn't used to selling or buying a home. You can't worry about them and their feelings if they don't go along the path of what one should feel when one is selling their house for way over asking and no inspections and a huge down payment. And so then I another time I had a situation where like the person said to me, they said, "I'm never going to go through this process again. I hate it that much." And it's like it's a question of how much do I control, or like to me, it's like did I set the expectations too high? Did I set the expectations too low? What is the reason why are these people? It doesn't happen all the time. And I've been in really some really tricky deals over the past year that weren't going to go smoothly just based on the way the situation played itself out. But yeah, so I thought about it, and I'm like, why is my camera flicking today? I don't like that. I just saw it. Hmm. Anyway, was it because I moved my hand in front of my face? Hmm. We'll work on it. Anyway, um, like if you're a trash man, like if you are trash, what do they call them? Garbage man? Like you go, or garbage person now, I guess, and you go and you pick up trash, and like someone's mad at you because you didn't pick up the right trash or something. Like, does it affect your day? You're a lawyer and like the other side hates you because you're ruining their lives. Does that ruin your day? Like, because somebody really hates you, wishes you dead? You're a McDonald's worker and you're just doing your job. You're just trying to get people their food, and some guy's pissed off about the menu that you have no control over. None. You don't set the prices. It's like you could internally do a good job, I guess, but if someone's not actively saying like, "I appreciate your efforts," or something, you feel miserable, and then why? Like honestly, there's times where it's like I don't even want to talk to anyone for like a couple days because I just feel so bad. Like they really bring me down. Like tonight, am I the happy-go-lucky person that I can be? No, I'm still thinking about it. It stings. Like, what do you mean you're not happy with? I mean, like I'm not in control of the reason why you're not happy. I don't know. And then I've had people like, how do I put it? It's okay to have emotions when you're buying or selling a house. I think that's totally normal. But if I'm the selling agent, okay, and I'm telling you as the client something that the buyer's agent said or that the buyers are looking for, you yelling at me, I don't I don't even understand. I mean, why? Why? And then to apologize later for it? I'm sorry I was emotional there, and I mean, I guess I appreciate but you ruined my night. So I mean, driving down the road and I was thinking about it. Is it because of the money involved? The you know, is it because like there's so much money involved and so much credit on the line for the buyer or the seller that they feel the need to lash out at me, just a real estate agent who wants everyone in the deal to be happy? I know that's not always possible, but I'd like my clients to be, happy. Now,